dropped about a good 3 to 5 degrees all across this area out to the west, and those temperatures in the 60s will be dropping shortly. So it's going to be a really chilly night around here and windy as well. Just prepare for it as you head out the door tonight. We'll talk more about that weekend forecast in the 7-day coming up.
All right, Steve, thanks so much. New at 6, investigators find credit card scammers in Westwood. Those devices were reported today at the Exxon gas station on Work Road near the Western Hills Plaza. Police found active scammers in multiple gas pumps. They don't know how long those devices were there, so if you have visited that store, please make sure you monitor your bank statements.
A family claims their son was, quote, essentially tortured inside the Hamilton County Jail. Tonight, they're suing over his death last year. That lawsuit from the family of Tommy Britt claims the jailers ignored him when he showed symptoms of an infection. They say Britt had a history of using drugs intravenously, and he died at the hospital less than a month after being booked into the Hamilton County Jail. 9 on Your Side did ask the sheriff's office for comment, and administrative secretary said the office does not comment on pending litigation.
From Harvey Weinstein to Roger Ailes, there is a movement happening in America to stand up and speak up if you've been sexually harassed. Gretchen Carlson wrote Be Fierce for that purpose. Once a reporter here at WCPO 9 on Your Side, she is the former Fox News anchor who sued Roger Ailes for sexual harassment. Today I spoke exclusively with Gretchen, who has the 5 things you need to know if you're being harassed. You can't talk about much about what happened at your time at Fox News, can you?
Yeah, but that's okay, because my complaint is online, it's public. My lawyers came up with a brilliant strategy to make my story public, because otherwise I would have been put into the shadows of secrecy like thousands of other women.
In her book, Be Fierce, Carlson details women's stories of harassment and what to do if you are harassed. So what should you do first?
You have to call a lawyer first and foremost. The laws are different in every state, the statute of limitations are short, and you really need that 10-minute legal advice before you do anything.
Carlson says document everything and don't leave it at work.
What happened to a lot of women that I interviewed after my story broke was that they had been documenting, but they kept it at work. And then they got fired and they couldn't go back to their office. Tell at least 2 trusted colleagues. I know it's hard, but you have to do that because you have to have witnesses. Know your policies. You have to follow them at work to the letter of the law so that your case doesn't get thrown out.
And finally,
you have to have a plan, and most times women don't have a plan.
Carlson says stepping forward will never be easy. It certainly wasn't for her. How scared were you? What did it feel like?
Excruciating. This is an excruciating choice. Probably, no doubt, the biggest professional choice in my life, possibly in my entire personal life as well. It's a huge risk. You know, liar, troublemaker, you can't take a joke, you hate boys, you hate men. But it was worth it to me because look where we are today. This is a watershed moment. And if I played any part in giving that gift of bravery or courage to any other woman, then I have done my job.
She has. Should mention all proceeds from Be Fierce, her book, go to the Gift of Courage Fund. So tomorrow, I'm going to lead a conversation with Gretchen at Books by the Banks. It's at 11:30, about an hour long. It is absolutely free, so come join us. And tonight on 9 on Your Side at 7, the role men play in stopping sexual harassment. And then at 11, what about here in Cincinnati? What was Gretchen's experience when she worked at WCPO?
Cyclists who enjoy the Ohio River Trail have to navigate gaps between neighborhoods. Grant money would help that, but tonight there's a unique problem. Other bike projects are holding it up. This specific problem is connecting the trail from the east end to Anderson Township. The city no longer has the money to match a federal grant. And a funding record actually shows from a city bike program shows that nearly $1 million for the Ohio River Trail was rerouted to Red Bike. On WCPO.com, the new ways that groups are trying to find money for the Ohio River Trail.
Let's go out to Wyoming High School live. This is the final week of regular season high school football, folks. It is here, and Broo and Keenan Singleton, they have a preview of Wyoming versus Indian Hill coming up later in sports.
And Safer Streets, a gun exchange tomorrow in one part of the tri-state, the specific weapons that organizers are trying to flush out of your community.
Happening tomorrow, a community effort to get guns used in crimes off the streets. 9 on Your Side has profiled the prevalence of community guns, weapons that are hidden in public places. So tomorrow there is a community gun buyback at the President Drive Church of Christ. That's in East Westwood. Anyone with a firearm, well, they can bring in a weapon, and the group Street Rescue will exchange it for a gift card to a tri-state business.
Lead inspectors want to get the word out about lead exposures here in the area and what you should do to make sure your home is now safe. The problem is really common in Cincinnati, so common in fact that the city requires 1- and 2-year-olds to be tested for lead poisoning. Lead paint is more common in some of the older homes and likely to be used on porches, doors, and windows.
The opening and closing of these old windows causes rubbing on the surfaces, and if this is lead paint, that's going to grind off over time, and then that lead dust will settle down here.
Now, in addition, there's an ongoing study from UC and Children's Hospital showing a direct correlation between childhood lead poisoning and adult criminal behavior. New at 6, Feedback Friday takes on a controversial decision that has Cincinnatians split.
I think the merchants are wrong.
Well, why not just cancel the parade altogether?
Your call is coming up next on 9 on Your Side at 6. It's Friday and time for your thoughts on some of the stories this week. One thing was for certain, you like your Reds opening day parade on opening day. The Reds opening day parade will not be held on opening day. Findlay Market merchants voted to move the date from March 29th to the following Monday because a Thursday parade would interfere with their sales. One anonymous caller thinks it's a good idea.
I think Findlay Market is doing the proper thing.
However, everyone else who called in thinks it's a mistake, like Bob in Mount Washington.
If they're going to do the parade 4 days late, they may as well not do the parade at all.
And I think the merchants are wrong in requesting that. How long is the opening day parade? A couple of hours. They still have plenty of time to sell their wares. And how better to sell their wares than to having more people down there that they can sell their goods to.
Hank sent me an email through the Feedback Friday website saying, just call it the Findlay Market Baseball Parade and hold it whenever you want. This is hardly a controversy. While Mark in Fairfield had this solution.
Why not change the parade route? Seems like a win-win to me. Parade stays on opening day, and Findlay Market gets 1,000 more shoppers to the downtown area.
A ban on abortions of fetuses that might have Down syndrome could get a full vote from Ohio lawmakers.
I just think that is a terrible thing to do. It affects not just your life, but the life of your entire family.
I feel that pregnancies that have a possible Down syndrome baby should absolutely not be aborted.
I feel sorry for anyone who would want to abort a Down syndrome child.
Sometimes calls into the hotline criticize our coverage.
Yeah, I've been watching the newscast all morning here. I keep waiting to find out where the news is about the Democratic National Convention and Hillary Clinton paying for the Trump dossier that was salacious and false and a lie. And here's real news, and you don't report it. You're the local news. You're our neighbors. We're supposed to trust in you. Your credibility is falling way by the wayside.
That call was at 6:39 a.m. The story aired at 6:49 a.m. and just minutes later, this call.
I just called. It's 10 till 7. You just aired the story on a DNC. I guess I have to take that back.
Finally,
this is Mike from Colerain Township. I was just watching a story about Fiona, and I think I love Fiona. She's the most beautiful hippo I've ever seen, and I'm really depressed because I can't pre-order a copy of the book. It's already sold out. I want a copy, and I'll pay up to $100 for it. I love Fiona. Goodbye.
All right, so Mike, some good news. We reopened those pre-orders, so go online right now and snag your copy, and I promise you it will not cost you $100. And if you ever have an opinion about a story you see on 9 on Your Side, be sure to call the Feedback Friday hotline, 513-852-4998.
He loves Fiona.
How about that? That was pretty sweet.
That was awesome.
That was pretty fun. You know, my wife was over at the zoo today, and she said she had a chance. Yeah, they had a little outing over there. So she said,
gone yet.
Yeah,
it
was really nice. Yeah, she sent me a little video of Fiona swimming by. It was kind of nice.
Now, does Fiona like rain?
Well, I hope so. I hope so. Yeah, I hope everybody does. Let's show you what's up because we've got plenty of it for tonight in our 9 first warning. Doppler shows all of that rain that's starting to show now, and as it gets closer to our signal here, you'll notice how we're starting starting to pick up those heavy downpours. Look at this red shaded area here, just about to approach Batesville. We'll break it down this way for you. Let's take you up to Butler County, where rain is just about to move into Hamilton, Fairfield, Middletown. You'll notice the kids up in Oxford at Miami are getting wet. Out through southeast Indiana, that stretches down through Ripley and Dearborn County, and it's all wet all through Ohio and Switzerland. Starting to move into Boone County here too. You folks right at about Union, the edge of the rain, it's going to continue to move to the east, and as it does, three things: wet, chilly, and of course windy. That was the other one. I forgot it there for a minute. It's all moving across the area for tonight, so get ready for it. And this tells the story best. Look at this. It's 43 degrees. Oh my goodness, this has dropped to 39. Looking for sales, 39 degrees. And it's 68 in Maysville right now. This is just across the tri-state because of that cold front slicing through the region. You can see what's happening out by Indianapolis. And oh, by the way, we're starting to get some reports on the northwest side of Indianapolis of seeing some snow flurries. So it won't be long before we have a little of that around our area as this front moves through. It drags the rain with it, and then a couple of other weather systems, we call them troughs, in the atmosphere. They will trigger some more moisture. There will be a couple of showers here and there right through the weekend. While predominantly we're talking about mostly cloudy from tomorrow through Sunday, we'll have a few hits of sun on Saturday, but we could also have a few scattered showers. Let's really break it down for you and show you what's happening. Southerly winds out there, all going to be replaced by the winds out of the west-northwest as the rain moves through. Look at the temperatures dropping, and keep in mind, this is the model temperature. It's already, 39 out there, so this is going to have to update one time. So we're looking at probably even colder temperatures tonight, which means that little band that you see out here on the likely side now of some mixed precipitation, some snow flurries, rain mix, maybe a little sleet in there too. As we head to Saturday, this is a good picture for you. There'll be some clouds and some sun at times, but mostly cloudy for your Saturday. If you're heading out tomorrow night, you will be fine for Saturday night, but it's going to be really chilly. Breezy and chilly, so it's going to even seem cooler than it is. The clouds taking back over the area, and look at this by 8 o'clock. We're looking at temperatures near freezing. And they'll hold there for the most part and then start dropping again as a little trough slides in, and see what happens? We start seeing what could very well be just some legitimate snowflakes going into Sunday morning. So that's just something to consider. And if you've got services for church on Sunday, it's going to be really cold out the door. It's going to be a cold and raw, cloudy day coming up on Sunday in the forecast. All right, so 37, rainy and chilly, a few wet snowflakes. And then tomorrow, mostly cloudy after a little AM rain. Just a little update, you'll see what a difference, huh? Down in Houston, temperatures in the 50s before the end of the game. Your 7-day forecast then, cold in the morning, chilly through the day. Temperatures rising a little bit into next week, but another chance for rain coming up midweek. Now it's time for sports, and here's John Popovich.
Thank you, Steve. It's the 10th and final week of the season. There's still a lot to play for, especially in the Cincinnati Hills League. That's why Ken Broo and Keenan Singleton are live at Wyoming with our Game of the Week. Guys?
It's chilly out here, but it's great out here. We're at Wyoming High School. It's unbelievable.
I don't think they need to be mic'd up at all.
Final football frenzy
of the year
that we're out here.
Of the year.
The playoffs start next week. We're at the home of the Cowboys for their big game tonight with Indian Hill.
Huge game. 2 undefeated teams in league play. And this is who fuels the offense for Wyoming. Their sophomore quarterback, Evan Prater. He has the Cowboys at 9-0. They're perfect this year. They scored 27 or more points in every game this season. Tonight in Indian Hill, they face another talented team. Yeah. Both of these teams are fighting for Cincinnati Hills League championship.
So we're going to have the highlights. Now listen. The person in charge here is Sierra. Sierra, say hi. Hi. All right, let's hear a cheer here for the Cowboys.
Okay, ready? We are YO #1. We are YO #1. We are.
They are.
YO
#1. Unbelievable. With Keenan on 10, Wyoming High School. All the scores and highlights tonight on the Frenzy at 11:15.
Thanks, Ken. You missed your